Here we are,
Zarak.
my friend.
Thank you for creating this beautiful space.
Yeah.
For connecting with me and going deeper into our life flow. And I mean, honestly, I was astonished to see you because the first time I saw you was actually on a podcast with Gio.
Okay.
And then I saw your Instagram and I saw you were here and then we met and then we went to the breathwork experience and then we just stand upon. So I've been always like impressed by your presence and your wisdom. So now for me it's a huge pleasure to have you here
Thank you.
having this conversation. So the first question I would love to ask you is what do you think is like your superpower?
Bringing together people. Definitely creating community, bringing people together to enjoy life.
Yeah.
You know, in my former career, my former identity, being a nightlife promoter, a nightclub owner, restaurant owner, I love bringing people together to celebrate life. You know, so that's definitely one of my superpowers. Coming up with a creative idea, an event, a party, and now it's a retreat, and being able to get people excited about what it is that I've come up with in my mind and what I want to share with them is definitely something I love, something I'm very good at, and it's played a big part in how I've kind of moved to Nosara and created my own little, you know, expat community here now. So yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I feel like your superpower is bringing people together, and that resonates with me because I feel like that's something I'm really keen to do that. But about you, like you bring those people together, and then what happens there? Like what is the transformation or the experience that those people are having with you?
Yeah, so it's a good question because before the intention of bringing people together was to have some drinks, dance, laughing, maybe some people get laid, you know, and it's just for fun, right? And just to enjoy life in that way. And now where it's different is I bring people together with a different intention. Like with the retreats, I bring them together to dive deeper into themselves, to connect with other people, and to go home a better version of themselves. And even with the Nomada group that I created here in Nosara, you know, at first it started off as like, yeah, let's get a bunch of friends together for dinner, because I was all surprised at who didn't know who after living here for so long. And I did 3 or 4 dinner parties, and they started to get up to 50 to 60 people, you know, at Koyol or whichever restaurant. And I thought, okay, this is great that we have so many amazing people together, but let's do something with this. You know, let's use these resources and all these amazing people and their talents to give back in somewhere, to like not just have it be we come out and have some food and drinks and that's all it is. So now Nomada is raising funds for different events. So in December we did an event to raise money for Nosara Cresse. April 8th we're doing a Nomada event to raise money for Nosara Animal Care. And it feels good now to get people together, to have fun, to celebrate, to enjoy life, but also with intention so that we can use our resources to make a difference, you know? Yeah.
Wow, I love that you're giving back to the community as well.
Of course,
so you're like putting people together, having beautiful experiences, and then give back to the community of Costa Rica, which is anyway giving us the blessing of being here.
Yeah, we're so fortunate that we get to live here in this amazing town with these beautiful people, and you know, we're very fortunate that we're abundant, and you know, we're coming from, you know, North America, we're very privileged, or Europe, or you know, and being able to set up shop here and run our businesses, which is great. However, you know, there's many people here that are local that are not doing so well, or they're struggling, especially with how expensive Nosara is becoming, you know. So to be able to give back and to show our appreciation in some way is, I think, is really important, you know, and it helps us to feel connected to the community as well, knowing that we're not just here to take what we can and then move on to the next place, you know. So.
And you know, this is what touches me about you, that you know, I see always this layer of service that you have in whatever you do, always bringing the service from within and without, and that's really like something important, and one of my top values and intentions for life. That's why like I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
And I would love to know, like, how did you get started with all of this? Because I must guess at some point in life you said, oh wow, I'm good actually at bringing people all together. So what was the
so my promoting days really, have you read the book The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell?
Once again, the name?
The Tipping Point?
No.
So in The Tipping Point, Malcolm Gladwell talks about how something that is a fad or a new style becomes a trend, that it really takes over the market. And in it, he describes different characters that play a part in that. And one of the type of people, an archetype, is called the maven. And the maven is a type of person that they experience something amazing, fun, beautiful, great value, whatever. They want to tell everybody. They want to share it with people. And I am a maven in that sense. Like, I had a great dinner at Tierra Magnifica last night. I'll tell 10 people how great it was over the next week, because if I experience something I enjoy, I just want to share it with people. So for me, I've loved traveling from a young age and got to experience many different places, whether it be in London, New York, LA, and I wanted to bring those experiences back home to Toronto. So I got into party promotion because I wanted to create something different. I wanted to offer Toronto nightlife something that it didn't have, because I saw something in New York or LA or Miami that was missing in Toronto. So said, you know what, I have an idea and I've got a theme, or I've got this concept and I want to share it with people. And it was in my passion for the idea and my creativity and my ability to invite people who knew me and trusted me to come out and check out what I was doing, that I was able to start my promotion career. In 1999, when I moved back from living in Miami, I came back with all these ideas and I was so inspired, and I started producing events back then, and the events did really well, and it went from doing one party a week to 2 to 3 to, like, sometimes we were doing 5-6 parties a week.
Wow.
And people just knew to trust my partner and I, because we really loved bringing people together and making sure that they felt comfortable, that they were having a good time, and it just came very natural to us. So, I would say my superpowers to bring people together was really developed during that early stage of my nightlife career. And then, as I got more established in that and then started opening up other businesses, I was then able to apply my marketing and my branding and my promotional skills on a different level. And then, throughout the years, I've had different opportunities come up that have allowed me to use my promotional ability and my superpowers of bringing people together to raise funds for different events. I'm one of the founding members of a charity called Artbound, and Artbound was created in 2010 by a bunch of people in the entertainment industry in Toronto. And during that time, we've raised over $2 million, and we've built schools in Kenya, India, Nicaragua, Guatemala, and Haiti. And it's through all of us using our superpowers to bring our friends together, to donate money, to sponsor the event, that we've raised that much money to give back and to be of service. And that's why, for me, contribution and being able to utilize our network and our resources to help those less fortunate, I feel is something that I don't want to say we're obligated to do, but I feel that it is our duty as humans. If you're doing well, if you're fortunate and abundant, and you have the ability to help, and it doesn't have to be about money, it could just be about resources, connections, whatever you can contribute. It really is important, because it makes everything you do that much more meaningful when you know that the rewards of what you are receiving can help benefit other people's lives, because I feel that at the end of our life, many years from now, when we're taking our final breaths and we're thinking about our life and what we did, I don't think we're going to be thinking about how many bottles of champagne we popped or the fancy cars we drove. I think what we're really going to think about is, did my time matter? Did I make a difference? Am I leaving this world a little bit better than I came? And I think that's what really matters most. So, service and giving back and contribution, I feel, is kind of our natural path, that when we've accomplished what we've needed, or when we get to a place where we're feeling whole and complete, and we are grateful for all the gifts that life has given us and the amazing things we have, then it's just natural that we want to share it with people. We want to make other people feel joy as well, because as humans, we can only do so much or buy so much accomplished so much to the point where it's like, okay, what else is there now? Oh, it's now about other people. It's not about me. It's about we. It's about, being able to share that magic. That's why so many people who get stupid rich, they end up starting to give it away because they realize, like, okay, having billions of dollars does not make me any happier. So how can I share this wealth and help other people to get to a place where they don't have to be in pain and suffering anymore? Yeah.
Wow. So then pretty much like you were very clear about your superpowers. It was about bringing people together. So you traveled the world and you saw all of these beautiful things, different types of parties, styles and whatever. And then you went back in Toronto and see how can I bring this so that I can bring people together, and then delivering so much fun and entertainment, and then being in service. So this is what has been pretty much your whole experience and that's astonishing. And in the same time, like, what was your drive? Like, what was your drive? And also, if I can ask you, like, do you think that those things that happened, like, were driven from ego or from your mind, or there was some deeper purpose even from God?
Well, for me, I had dropped out of high school at an early age, and I didn't have financial support from my parents. Like, when my parents split up, they weren't in a good financial position, and the banks actually repossessed our house, so I was on my own, and I didn't have a college degree or anything like that. So for me, I had started nightlife at 18 and really enjoyed it. I loved it. Like, for me, it was my place, and I wanted to excel. I wanted to grow within the industry. So for me, it came from a place of creativity, inspiration, but also security and stability, because I didn't really know how else I was going to make money. But most importantly, it's just what felt really natural for me to get involved with that and to start, hosting events and throwing parties and ultimately opening my own places. So, and I will admit, there was definitely, part of the reason why I was drawn to nightlife is, I dealt with prejudice and racism growing up. I dealt with getting bullied. I didn't feel like I fit in, and we spoke about this during the breathwork training. Like, I grew up just wanting to be liked. I wanted to be admired. I wanted to have friends. And when you're in nightlife and you're the cool promoter, you're the big shot owner, everybody likes you, So for me, I like that in the nightlife you could be anyone you wanted to be, So for me, definitely there was ego and insecurity and, wanting to be admired, and also wanting to dance and hang out with hot girls and, drink vodka Red Bull or whatever I drank back then. So there's many different elements why I got into it, but I think for the most part, I just really enjoy people, and I love seeing people dance their ass off and have fun, and so there's that. But then, it quickly became a very lucrative business. Like, my partner Ralph and I, when we started, like, right out the gates, we were making a lot of money because we were offering something very new and innovative, and people were happy to pay for it. So at a young age, Ralph and I were making really good money. So it was like, wow, I get to do something I love, that is my superpower, that I get paid really well to do. This is amazing, So I feel very fortunate that I was able to, express my creativity and have people provide the opportunity for me to, share my superpower.
Yes. Yeah. And what was different and unique from the way you were delivering these parties that wasn't available in Toronto?
So back then, Toronto nightlife was pretty much, you got in line, you paid, cover it, you go in, you drink, you dance, and that was kind of like limited experience. What we offered different was we worked with some of the more like premium venues. We made it guest list only, that you actually had to know Ralph or myself or one of our promoters to get in. We played a very like kind of sexy style of like Miami house music that really wasn't being played in Toronto. It was being played in Toronto, but it was played in the gay clubs only. So it was like the Madonna, Junior Vasquez, Whitney Houston kind of remixes that you wouldn't hear in a normal club. And we were selective. We really curated the clientele, and not in an elite way, but more so we wanted like-minded people in there, because we had gay people, straight people, people from the industry, people, a lot of hairstylists. We had very creative, fashionable people. We had a lot of really hot girls, but we wanted to make sure that the beautiful women didn't feel threatened. So we created a safe space where anybody was welcome if they were somebody in our community. So people felt that they belonged to something. They felt like they were invited and selected to come to these type of events, and people were ready for that because it didn't exist in Toronto before we started that. And in Miami and New York, still to this day, you go to New York, you want to go to the hottest club in New York or Miami, there's no lineup. You stand up front and they just pretty much point people. You got to know the promoter or the manager, the owner. So we brought that element, and then themes. We even bring in DJs from New York and Miami. So there was quite a few things that we did different that wasn't being offered. That worked. That really resonated with people.
Yeah, I guess creating this uniqueness, I think, is like what makes people curious to know, like,
for sure,
what's different there. And maybe some people might relate with that personality to bring there, because it's not for everyone. It's for people who are like-minded.
And especially when people find out that, you need to be on a guest list to get in, or just not anyone can go, then even more people want to come. There's an old trick in the nightlife industry. If there's a club and there's a room that's not so busy, you put up a rope and stanchions in front of that quiet room, and all of a sudden everybody wants to get in that room, because people want to feel like they're a VIP. People want to feel like that they're selected, right? So
Beautiful trick, I love it.
Yeah.
And by the way, we're talking about parties. Have you been at Burning Man?
Yeah, I've been to Burning Man twice.
Yes.
And I registered for the tickets to go this year.
Yes.
In my opinion, it's the best gathering of human beings on the planet. Not saying it's the best human beings on the planet, but it is the best, most creative, most innovative event in the world from what I've seen. So I'm excited to go back. There's a few of us from Nosara that are going to be there. So it's going to be a good time. You should think about coming.
Yeah, I already signed, registered as well.
Okay.
So I'm waiting for the 30th of
Okay,
March to purchase it.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for a tribe to go there.
Okay,
So we might
nice.
connect with it.
Okay.
So how was this experience for you the last two times?
I mean, the first time you go, you don't know what to expect. Like, no matter what anyone tells you, you don't know what you're going to get into. And then you show up and you're just like, wow, this is what the hell. Like, you really feel like you're on another planet where you've stepped into another dimension. It is like incredible. I'm just going to check something real quick just to make sure that everything's recording. This is recording still. Yep, that's good. That's good. Yeah, it's good just to do a check every now and then. We can just have them edit it in. And the second time I went to Burning Man, I was definitely more prepared. I had better costumes. I understood the philosophy of just, there's the 10 principles of Burning Man. I can't remember them all right now, but it's like radical self-reliance, inclusion, and also gifting. Just being able to offer just gifts, whatever it is that you want to share, on the playa. And I really enjoyed my second. I enjoyed both experiences in their own way. And this time, I'm going to go for the full experience, where I'm going to go a couple days in advance, help them set up the camp, be there for the full week, and then probably spend a couple of days, what they call afterburn, where you go and you get a hotel somewhere and just chill out and just decompress from it all. So yeah, I'm excited for it, and it's wild, man. It's so much fun. The world would be a beautiful place if we lived like Burning Man. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm excited because for me it would be the first time, but it's been like one of my dreams, like since 6 years, and I never had the chance. And when I had the chance, it was like the COVID and everything was locked. So now things are aligning. Yeah. And I'm here.
Oh, you're gonna love it.
So
I wonder what your playa name will be.
Do we have a playa?
I don't have a playa name. I gotta come up with one.
Okay.
I wonder what yours would be. You gotta think about that.
I will let you know. Yeah. Let's switch gears a little bit. So we're talking about parties and Burning Man. So I would love to know more from you. What are your thoughts on about the idea of surrendering to God flow of life.
Yeah.
If you have any insights about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I've been reading recently this book about the surrender experiment.
Okay.
I don't know if you know this book.
What's the Surrender Experiment? Yes, one of my favorites. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so this book blew my mind.
Yeah,
because this guy,
me
like,
too.
he smashed it. I don't sing it. So I'd love to know your view on that and how this has been manifesting in your life.
Yeah, so I have tried to control my life for a very long time, like, most alpha males, and truth is we never have control. No matter how organized and planned and calculated we are, we never have control, because at any point in time, situation can change that's beyond your control, and everything you had planned goes out the window. For example, COVID. I was growing my company. I had hosted 9 retreats. I was getting ready to host another 4 in 2020. I had India planned, Bali, Africa, Muskoka, and then COVID happens, and in a moment like that, it's like, okay, why is this happening, and how do I want to respond to this? Because in life, we can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond to the situation. And Surrender Experiment also resonated with me deeply, because for those of us who live our lives thinking we're in control and that we can control things, we're completely disillusioned, because there is no way to force or control the outcome. You can have an intention, you can have a desire, a wish, but don't have an expectation. Don't be stuck to a certain outcome, because often when things don't work out for you, the end result is actually better than the initial desire, intention. I find that when I surrender and I just ask myself, okay, this isn't going the way I want right now, and I could freak out, or I can, jump up and down and scream, or I can just ask myself, like, what's here for me to learn? Why is the universe giving me this curveball right now? What is it that I need to experience here to learn from it? And living in Costa Rica, moving here to Nosara from Toronto requires a lot of surrender.
Yep.
And it'll challenge you, coming from a city of 8 million people where everything's available in a double click.
Yeah.
To a city where, we have random blackouts, internet goes down, shit gets stolen. There's so many unpredictable things that could happen here in Nosara. And there's not much you can do about it. Yeah, you can be angry and frustrated, but really, it's not gonna make it any better. So you learn to surrender, you learn to learn from the experience and choose to see it as, okay, there's something for me to grow from this. So when you take on that perspective and you learn to trust and you learn to accept that this is happening for a reason, in time you discover that, okay, I'm just going to go with the flow and trust that whatever happens is meant for me. Yeah. And I'm not going to get upset in the moment when things go sideways. I'm going to breathe and just trust that even though I'm not happy about what's happening right now, the reason why it's happening for me is going to reveal itself in the near future. So I'm just going to surrender, trust, and flow. And that's the mindset that's necessary to live here, That's the mindset that's also necessary to handle what's happening in the world right now. Of course, there are many devastating, unfortunate incidences that are happening on the planet right now that, of course, we wish weren't happening. But when the smoke clears many years from now, we're going to look back and we're going to understand why all this happened. We're going to understand who was pulling the strings, what their agenda was, who was benefiting, and even though it doesn't make sense to many of us right now, we just have to keep reminding ourselves that the universe doesn't give us anything we can't handle, and with every challenge, there's a lesson to be learned and an opportunity to grow. And when you can adopt that mindset, and you could let go of expectations, and you could not take things personally, and you can just trust that the universe is going to take care of you, and you just look for that golden lesson in every experience, it allows you to stay inspired. It allows you to stay in a high vibration, feeling optimistic and curious rather than resentful, angry, or in fear. You know, so embracing flow, surrendering to the universe, to God, and just trusting is something that I've really taken on in the last 4 or 5 years, especially with, you know, I left a career after 25 years and moved here to start something completely new. And, you know, I tell my clients this often: if there's a dream you have, if there's a goal that you have in mind, and it scares the shit out of you, and you don't know what to do, and you're scared to take that first step, it's so important just to trust that as soon as you take that first step, the second step appears, and the third step appears. But the universe will not show you the way if you're not willing to take that first step. And when I jumped off the ledge and I got rid of everything and moved here to Costa Rica, I didn't know how it was going to come together, but I just knew that it was my time. And since making that choice, the universe has rewarded me over and over and over again with the right person at the right time, new opportunities, amazing clients, beautiful collaborations. You know, it sounds cliche, but it's true. You know, like, the universe favors the bold, and when you show the universe, I'm ready and I'm willing to take that step, the path will appear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so powerful to talking about, because also sometimes we want to force things to be our own way.
Yeah.
And when we surrender, the magic happens.
Absolutely.
Which I feel like so much magic has been happening since COVID started. And I think it's like some sort of test that the universe is making for us. So who are the ones who are going to surrender to that? And who are the ones who are going to complain about it and force things to be their own ways?
Yeah.
And I think I've been gifted with, because I never complained once since COVID started. Not even once. For me, it's been a blessing somehow because of various things, like more time for myself, less distractions, more time for, you know, building my assets in my business. But, you know, I was running into that completely, and lots of beautiful things happened for me since then, and I keep surrendering to that. And how interesting is that sometimes, like, the things we want to do are from our mind, and we force them. They may not be the right ones. Yeah. But when there are things coming to you in a way that is repeated, that's a sign that the universe is like knocking on your door. This is what's going on. You might to say yes. Yeah. And, you know, recently I've seen this beautiful concept. You know, flow is like the combination of discipline and surrender together. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, because to get into that flow, you have to be taking inspired action. You have to be, you have to be consistent. You have to be doing the work. You know, flow doesn't just happen by accident, you know? And that's what's really important to understand is, like, have your practices, be intentional. Yeah. Because there's also a balance between being over-structured and super, like, militant. Yes. And being intentional and being consistent. Because I swing between that often, where I'm so scheduled, I'm so detailed with all my lists and all my calendar planned out, that I don't allow or create the space for the flow to happen, because I'm just so rigid in my schedule. And that's something to be very mindful of, especially for driven individuals who are very, like, alpha A-type. It's like there's that balance between being organized and scheduled, but also leaving time for fun and spontaneity and random
things that might pop up that you should say yes to, you know, so that's important. And that's the yin and the yang, right? That's the masculine structure and the feminine flow, the feminine, you know, dance, right?
Correct. That's why I resonate with the discipline and surrender together. And there is something interesting that I started to do recently, and I'd love you to know what you think about that. So usually I used to be a very anxious person, and I used to have lots of goals and lots of deadlines. And of course with goals there is expectations and there is something. So basically what I did, I stopped setting goals. I started to set intentions. How do I want to show up today? And again, it's presence, surrender, and service. And I'm gonna create a day based on that, instead of having goals like aiming towards clients, aiming towards partnership, having to do that. Because there is anxiety behind me. I'm not doing it because I'm like sometimes military. Like I have to do things perfectly and good. I have to smash it, and sometimes. If this is not happening, you know, anxiety kicks in, like I don't sleep, and I'm constantly thinking about it. What do you think about the idea of, like, sometimes letting go of these goals and having intentions instead?
I can understand why you do it, and I do have like a vision of what I'm creating, and I have, you know, I guess you could say the intention of what I want to create. And I know what the goals are, but I don't set goals on a day-to-day basis for like what do I want to accomplish by the end of the week. And I can actually admit that I need to actually hold myself accountable and say, okay, you know, by this day I need to have this done. That's the goal I'm working towards this week, and I need to prioritize, because the thing is being a creative person, being a manifester, I have 10 amazing ideas in my head at all times. And every day I'm trying to work a little bit on as many as I can. But that's not always the most effective. You know, so setting goals for the week and having a target to stay focused on serves a purpose, but also if you're completely goal driven and everything you do is to check off the boxes, then that's also counterproductive, I would say, to your own growth. You know, so for me, it's about being intentional with my time, working towards a specific goal, but at the same time, being easy on myself and being gentle and forgiving at times, because, you know, we can be very hard on ourselves as men to perform, to hit targets, to, you know, achieve what we think we need to. So, yeah, I think it's again, it comes down to a balance of setting goals to keep you on track, so that you know that you're making consistent progress, but at the same time, leaving room for things to just happen, right? Like that flow.
Beautiful. So talking about basically doing a mix of setting goals and then having sometimes with intentions and with from some flow space, pretty much.
And I would say, like, you know, having a goal for what you want to accomplish by the end of the week or the end of the month, and then using your intentions, journaling your intentions that correlate or are connected to your end goal is important, you know, because then your intentions will help you to make choices and schedule your day accordingly. You know, that's in alignment with the goal that you have. Yeah, for sure.
Inspiring. And for now, I'm just testing it. It's been like a few weeks, and it's been working.
Nice.
But let's say sort of have a goal with the service part as an intention to move it forward and let it move. And so I will see how this will unfold. But let's say right now, bro, like I feel like I want to completely surrender to life and pretty much say yes to the things that are coming to me. For example, in my mind, I want to stay in Osara because logically it makes sense. I have these beautiful friends and all of that. But then I think, what if actually, I don't know, the universe told me to do something else? And then it's calling me the breath work. Like for me, I didn't wake up and I said I want to do that. But seems like I'm gifted with that. Like lots of people are coming to me with that. And so I want to devote the rest of my weeks or months or even years with that.
Amazing.
And see what it brings me. So it's why I'm going to San Marco in Guatemala to do that.
Okay.
And like for me, logically, it doesn't make much sense, but it seems like things are aligning perfectly. Because my mind wants to do something else, want to be a public speaker, doing retreats, you know what I mean? All of these weird things.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I want to ask you, have you ever done the test called Wealth Dynamics?
Wealth Dynamics? No, I don't think so. No.
So basically, it's like some specific test
Okay.
that tells you like what is the type of genius you are.
Okay.
And you feel like you have lots of ideas, right?
Yeah, I've done the Gallup Strength Finder, and it's about a 20-minute questionnaire that tells you your top 30. Well, it tells you your 34 strengths, and most importantly, what your top 5 and your last 5 are. But Wealth Dynamics, I mean, I love doing these tests because they're so accurate. Like when I got my Gallup top 34, I was like, wow, that is really, really bang on. So now when I hire new people, I have them do that test, and it's like, it's a game changer. I know right away if this person's like, going to be a good fit. So it's called Wealth Dynamics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is very accurate.
Okay.
Like let's say generally, like there's this idea there's 4 types of geniuses. So one is like basically people genius. So let's say someone who brings people together, and let's say an example is Oprah.
Okay.
Oprah, like she is like really connecting well. Then the second one is Dynamo. So people like Steve Jobs or Richard Branson.
Okay.
So those people who have lots of ideas.
Yeah.
And then they have a team behind them implementing them, because maybe they are not as good at executing, but they're excellent at having many stream of ideas.
Like me,
Then there is the tempo genius, people like Nelson Mandela and Gandhi. And those are people who have visions. Okay, so people who see like 20, 30 years ahead, and they believe and stick with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love that.
And then there is I think is system genius. So someone who is like really good at creating systems that works.
Nice.
So those are the 4 types of geniuses.
Okay.
And let's say I relate a lot with the people one. And let's say the second one might be like the dynamo, the ideas one.
Okay.
I see mostly the people one. And that's funny enough, an irony of life, because when I was younger, I was struggling with language. I couldn't speak properly, and I was always bullied and full of anxiety. And now it seems like it's my superpower. People. And it seems like the same for you. You've been struggling with that. How ironic is life?
Yeah, but I feel that also part of the reason why you and I both excel at dealing with people now is because we had to work on it, because it was important to us, because we weren't good at it for so long, or we felt that we were lacking in that area, so we I don't want to say overcompensate, but we put our time and energy into it to get over it, to overcome that,
Absolutely. And just one last thing I would like to touch with you is like how has psychedelics had an impact in your life?
Yeah, great question. So I had already started personal development and working with coaches and going to retreats. My journey kind of started, I would say, 2014, and then I had done mushrooms, in like when you're in your 20s. I've done it at Burning Man. And mushrooms for me had always been very insightful, very informative. I actually preferred doing it back then, even like at a cottage, chilling with some friends. I didn't want to eat mushrooms and go to a rave or anything like that. Nothing wrong with raves. I've done a lot of ecstasy and MDMA at raves, and that was super fun. And of course, MDMA and ecstasy are considered psychedelics. However, psilocybin really allowed me to connect to a deeper layer within myself, and allowed me to expand my consciousness for sure. And it was once getting on this path, I'm just trying to think if it was mushrooms or ayahuasca I did first. yeah, it might, like, doing it first from a personal development or self-growth context. So in 2017 here in Costa Rica, I did ayahuasca for the first time, and it was an interesting experience. I did it back to back, 2 ceremonies, and ayahuasca will only show you what you're ready to see. And I feel that at that time, I still wasn't necessarily connected enough to myself, that I didn't have a consistent enough practice where maybe the medicine didn't feel that I could handle what it was going to show me.
Yep.
Maybe it just wasn't my time. This is why I tell people who want to come to Costa Rica to do ayahuasca or iboga or psilocybin, I always ask them why, what's your intention, why do you want to do it? And of course, most of them are going through some pain, lost a loved one, or dealing with addiction, or they want to change their life, they want clarity from the medicine.
Yeah.
And I ask them, do you meditate? No. Do you do breath work? No. Do you, get any coaching or therapy? No. So a lot of people want to dive right into the psychedelics without having a foundation set first. Thankfully, I had been working with amazing people from 2014 to 2017, so I was already well on my way on this path. So when I started diving into the plant medicine, and it started showing me things, telling me things, allowing me to see beyond this 3-dimensional reality, I was able to experience it and feel it and process it and learn from it, most importantly. So plant medicine has been very profound for me. It's been very helpful in my growth and development. Having done Bufo a few times, Bufo really showed me who we really are at our true core, and what there is after this life is over. And when you experience that divine love energy, when you experience that white light, and you finally understand, oh wow, we really are one.
Yeah.
And you get to experience the oneness. You don't fear death anymore.
Yeah.
And you also don't feel bad for people when they die. And of course you can miss them and maybe wish they stuck around longer, but it's like where they're going is way better than where we are right now. It's better in a different way, So plant medicine is something that I'm a big believer in. I truly feel that ayahuasca and psilocybin are going to help save the planet. I'm an investor into a company called Dimensions, which is a psilocybin-focused retreat center. I am supporting and investing into companies that are bringing psychedelics to the mainstream market, because being a coach and working with people who, some of them have been in therapy for years, then having experienced a psychedelic assisted psychotherapy session, it's like a year of therapy in a 3-hour session. And I believe it is the future of mental health treatment. And these shamans, the indigenous, the elders, they've known this for thousands of years. There's a reason why ayahuasca and psilocybin are becoming so popular right now. It's because the planet needs it. Humanity needs it more than ever before. Because we're not on a good trajectory. Human beings are more unconscious and disconnected from themselves than ever before. And we're not going to save the planet. We're not going to save the animals, the environment. We're not going to save ourselves if we don't wake the fuck up. And that's exactly what plant medicine helps us do, is see through the bullshit, see ourselves for who we really are, love ourselves for who we aren't, and get complete so that we can be a better version of ourselves for humanity and for planet Earth, right? So I fully support it. I think everybody should do a hero dose of mushrooms at some point in time in their life. Ayahuasca isn't for everyone, and yeah, interesting times are coming with how things are changing. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah. One of the biggest misconceptions I see about psychedelics, because okay, they're seeming amazing, but also most people don't understand that they don't cure anything.
No.
In my opinion, psychedelics, they facilitate healing. And as you said, like, are you doing meditation? Are you journaling? Are you working yourself? Do you know your shadow? And like, you don't go, like, people do go into ayahuasca experiences thinking that they're gonna have this transformational experience, and that's yes they can, but are you integrating it? Are you working on it anyway? So then for me, like, doesn't fix anything. It facilitates or might accelerate the process of growing. That's how I've been seeing it. Like myself, like since I've been taking psychedelics, I think I've been growing way faster than I would have done without it. And also I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm genetically like created for psychedelics, because it seems like psychedelics give me this extra thing. Like, this is why, like, I became a big fan of microdosing. And then like psychedelics, what I love about it, there's a beautiful quote actually that describes this that I'm saying. Is like, if you die before you die, you won't die when you die.
Oh, I love that. That's so good.
And this is like what explains
totally
for me
makes sense.
psychedelics. Like, when you die, you let die this persona, this personality, this mask. That's holding us back from who we really are. Cosmic divine beings. Then, like, we are pretty much like one step to heaven. And that's when the real freedom comes in.
Because otherwise we live in this fear of, we're running out of time, we're running out of resources, we're running out of, everything that we think we need, when the truth is we're infinite, abundant beings. That, if you never had to worry about time, if you never had to worry about money or death or pain, suffering, if you just never had to worry about it because you knew that it's all temporary, it would completely change the way people operate in life. So often, it's time that we're always fearful of losing. It's always time we're chasing. It's always time that we're trying to manage, but time doesn't exist.
Totally. So I want to thank you so much for this beautiful time together.
Thank you. It was great.
And is there like any last message that you may want to leave us?
So for anybody out there who's watching this, who's listening, the journey within, it is the most beautiful journey you'll ever take. I was unconscious for 40 years of my life, and it was through the perfect storm of what I went through at 40 on that birthday that had me realize like things needed to change. And there are many people out there right now, especially as a result of the pandemic, who they know I'm not happy. I know I have more to offer the world. I know I have more within me. They hold back because of the fear. They hold back because of the what if. And as we touched on before, trusting the universe and just surrendering and just being brave enough to take that step forward. It is a different life. It is a different existence when you really start to know who you are and you're able to tap into your purpose and you just show up in a different way. And that's what the world needs right now. The world needs people who are showing up for themselves, showing up for one another, showing up for the earth, because things are changing quickly, and you could either sit back and just feel like you can't do anything about it and just take the victim perspective, or you can say, you know what, I'm not happy with what's going on, and change starts with me first, because when you do your own work, when we heal ourselves, we inspire everybody around us, and we inspire others to do their own healing, and that's how we're going to heal the planet overall. So if you don't like what's going on out there, if you don't like what's happening in your life, you can choose to wake up tomorrow and start doing something about it. Because otherwise, if you don't like the way your life is or what you see when you turn on the news, but you choose to do nothing about it, then that's what you're going to experience, So it's a beautiful journey. It's not easy, but it's the most rewarding work you'll ever do, and thankfully there's people like you and people like Gio and people like, you know, all the amazing humans in our community and out there in the world that are doing this work.
Yep.
And yeah, it's a pleasure to be walking this path with you. You know, it's a pleasure to be leading breath work with you. And yeah, thank you. I'm glad you invited me to come on here and share with you. And yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zarak. And yes, just thank you for being you and showing up and doing this amazing work.
Appreciate it. All right. Go to the beach. Beach
Yes.
sun. All right. Thank you, brother.
Would you like a microdose of THC on drops? Like you barely feel it. Actually.
Yeah.
Like you don't feel it at all.
Yeah.
If you want.
I don't know. The problem is I'm a little tired.